mention that the mall's made a lot of improvements here. A couple of things that the mall's also did. This is a brochure from about then. So the mall's put in the putter golf and the driving range as well. In fact, the whole package was for sale, but it was more than mom and dad wanted to bite off at that time. So this is a brochure they had. You see, you got the riding stable, the range, putter golf, and the Union City Golf Course and the driving range. Maybe a big addition to the ring. So 1961, that's a 61 quarter, you can't quite tell that. That's the year we bought the roller rink. So, yeah, so 1961, Mom and Dad worked with Willis and Phyllis all summer, and we bought the rink in September of 1961. And so for years, we had a promotion. If you brought in a 1961 quarter, you could skate for a quarter. Guess what happens in 1964? They quit, these were silver quarters. They quit making silver quarters. So just 61 quarters got scarcer and scarcer. We used to actually keep a couple of rolls, and when a skater would come in this, like early September or August, a regular, we'd say, hey, there's a 61 quarter in your change because the night's coming out. So but you just got to play with it. The 61 quarter was worth more than the price of admission. That promotion died out. So I had a remote clicker here, but it just doesn't seem to want to work today. Just some couple of pictures from the time. So way back, like right back there at the entryway, in the old days, maybe in the dance hall days, maybe the early roller skate days, there used to be a admission counter there, like a glass booth, like a movie theater, like a little glass kiosk there. But then the malls had put this counter, and we took admission and everything at this counter in the early days, or for a lot of years. But that glass window was still there, so my mom used to decorate it seasonally. So there's a picture on the left, roller skates for sale, skate cases for sale, what have you. Do it based on the season. Sometimes I got tasks to do it. I remember doing Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day before. And just some couple of young ladies looking at a record. So, it was all organ music till, it was all organ music till even mixed. It's anytime you change something, it's hard. There are a lot of people who like traditional organ music. A lot of people wanted to hear some more contemporary music. So it was a hard transition. We did it. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So I'm just going to talk about I'll talk about a couple things. Let's talk about the hours. So back then in the summer, mid-June, we'd start opening every night. Rink was open every night. 1st of July, every afternoon and every night, until Labor Day. So, all summer long, twice a day. Friday nights till 1, we had a midnight skate, you bought extra tickets till 1, and Saturday nights, midnight skate. I don't remember the admissions. I have some snack bar prices coming up from 1961. So we'd always start, skate about a half hour with the general skate. We'd always start with a couple skate, then an all skate. Then we'd mix it up, but maybe the conga next. Then a little skating. Then, because there's always some shy guys here, so many romances started in the room. Next, guess what comes up? Ladies' choice. For the shy guys. And so then we mix it in, a trio. We always have a hokey pokey. Yeah.
But you gotta see how it started. How your dad would go around here with that megaphone in his car.
Oh yeah.
I can still hear it. I could still hear him say.
Me too, because we all heard it 1,000 times. Yeah. Yep. So it's open every night. To Becky's point, Tuesday night was family night. Because so back then, think about the people we had to draw from in the summer. A lot of it was weekly rentals. So people were here for the week with the family. They're on vacation. They're going to spend money. They're going to skate, dance, go to the park. Whereas with a year-round resident, you may not go to skate every week. The renters, the whole family would skate usually. So Tuesday night we had family night, and that was a lot of people had that. Mr. Mull started that. Willis started, not Dad. But we put speakers on the car. In those days, there's no solid state. We'd have this red hot amplifier with tubes, sitting in the middle of the front seat. Had a little AC to DC converter kind of hanging on the side of the car, hooked up with the battery. And we'd go around as family night tonight at the roller rink, skating from 8 till 11.
Just the way you said it.
That's family night tonight at the roller rink. Skating all around the lake, up this side, down the other side.
Pretty much every road.
Yeah.
Dad is a real character too, so kids would jump in behind us and follow us on the bikes, and Dad would be like, "Hey, Jimmy, is that a new bike?" Go by somebody having a picnic. "Hey, did you throw a burger on for me?" We'd be like, "Dad."
He'd just say, "See you tonight."
Yeah, and as Bob Crocker was saying, because he filled in worked a lot at the rink a lot of nights. My dad always worked for a milk company. This was just a sideline. In fact, his offices were fairly remote sometimes as he got promoted over the years. So it was a real family business. I think I was only 16. I remember having to do that, and it was, you can imagine at 16, it was like mortifying on something. Look, I saw it was me on Tuesday night, family night. I knew the routine, family night tonight. Yeah, but it really brought it in. So family night was $1 for the whole family to skate, something like that. They did have to rent skates for $0.25. And we just we'd rent every pair of skates in the rink. I remember giving kids like 3 or 4 sizes too big because that was all that was left. So we packed them. But it was great. So that was Tuesday night. And a lot of those people would say, "This was fun, but I'd like to come back when it's less crowded." So we'd see them Wednesday night, Thursday night, or Friday night. So there's some strategy to that. So I was talking about the order of skates. Saturday night we did the Grand March. It was a lot of fun. We had a fair number of good skaters in the Grand March. Bob used to lead the Grand March. I can't remember. I can probably work it out if I worked really hard. I don't even remember the sequence.
We used to have that as a buffalo whenever.
Yeah, good. Yeah, Bob started at the LaBeouf roller rink. Used to be a lot of roller rinks. And last skate always, of course.
Couple skate.
Yeah. Before the skates, the one, there's always a special skate, all skate. We do a reverse skate late in the night just to get everybody going. So they learned how to turn corners to the right, so they not just to the left. And
Push skate was
The push skate was always very popular.
Yeah.
Shoot the duck for some of the older people.
Yeah.
I swept the floor on the push skate.
Yeah, and that would always get the young people riled up. So that was like a quarter to 11, right before we closed. So there's a real strategy actually to the way things flowed. Worked out well. Then in the winter, and that's something that Dad really initiated. I'm not sure how long the malls were open in the winter or how much, because they say Ralph Nagle put that floor down just a few winters before we bought the rink. This floor.
That we weren't allowed to walk on. Now
we're allowed to walk on, and we're allowed to put chairs on. There's one exception we'll talk about. It always amazed me that Mom and Dad did this. But my dad invented a process. So polyurethane came out, but in the early days it was it didn't dry very well. It would delaminate, and you have to shut the rink down for a pretty extended period of time before the polyurethane would dry. So he would he'd thin it with, did you get involved in that, Barry? I did it a lot of times. That would thin it with turpentine, and we'd use an airless sprayer, and we just fog the floor with urethane like every 2 months, about the time it would get slippery. Before that, a lot of roller rinks used rosin. If the floor started getting slippery, you'd spread rosin. It was just dusty. I mean, roller rink, we're fighting dust all the time. So he'd fog the floor with polyurethane by the next business day. It would usually be dry. On a really hot, humid day, sometimes it was a little tacky when the skaters came back in.
And that process always started, so we closed the rink at 11, then we'd break out the dust mops.
Yeah, then we'd clean the
everything,
floor.
get all the dust off that you could.
Very thoroughly.
So an hour or two of dust mopping and then an hour of flogging. So that was usually a late night.
That was a late night.
1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Typically.
Usually Friday nights, because the rink would be nice and warm. See, Dad didn't know when I had to go to work the next day, so except in the roller rink. Yeah, so usually Friday nights. Gonna add something to fogging, but it's gone.
Now why can we walk on the floor now?
because
They own it.
the millers allow us to. What is urethane coated now? Yeah, there's the urethane coated. Obviously, plastics have come a long way, the urethane coated.
What was the idea of not walking on?
Just no wear and tear. No, and plus your
mom made us go around.
And a lot of people would carry mud in on their
Yeah, he
shoes.
was afraid of dirt on your shoes or stones on your shoes.
Yeah.
If they weren't looking, we'd run across the
Yeah,
middle.
oh yeah, always.
Our livelihood is the rink floor.
Yeah.
Make it nice and smooth. Keep it smooth. That's the livelihood.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the old open bearing wheels. I think they're maybe all precision bearings now, but and some of every once in a while a cone would wear, and there'd be bearings everywhere. Because there's always worried about tripping hazards too, stones and ball bearings all over the floor.
You might have noted when you came in that there's a sign out there that says no gum, no chewing tobacco. Gum was a big factor too. There would be about once a month we had a little cart and you'd just ride around the rink and find pieces of gum and scrape them up. I just remember scraping up gums and different deposits on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever everything open, it was, well, sometimes we get those great big moths will get run over on the floor.
Oh, I remember those.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too, you said that. Okay. So just a lot of people have some few the snack bar photos. A lot of people have good memories of the snack bars. Spend a lot of time in the snack bars. So back at that day, there was a counter. We actually had a soda fountain there. Actually carbonated the well water. Made our own carbonated water. Made up, we buy concentrated flavors. Made up flavors. We could get root beer and cherry and orange and lemon and you name it.
And the rumble strip. The rumble strip on
Oh yeah, the
floor.
rumble strip on to slow everybody down. Yeah, we had that carpet with the ridges in it.
We would skate so fast back then.
Yeah, the same swinging doors in and out. So skaters could go either way. Sign on that side, skaters only outside of the snack bar. Actually, we welcome people to come in the snack bar and buy snacks in the side door, but roller skaters only on this side of the wall. A couple of rollers, there's some snack bar. We used to have these little stainless steel cups, sold pop, the soda pop in a cone.
Yeah.
And had those little stainless steel holders for years.
I forgot.
Yeah. So one of the photos had from '61 had a menu in the background, so I blew it up as best I could. So Sundays were 25 cents. Hot fudge was all 35 cents. The Mexican, you had to pay 5 cents for the peanuts. Hot dog for 35 for a quarter. Hamburger for 35 cents. Cheeseburger for 35 cents. So those were the prices in '61. It's just so some a little more modern. The booths show the wooden booths that were there for years in the counters. The roller skating picture. We'd have especially on weekends. We'd have birthday parties pretty often. So we'd set aside 15 minutes where no one could use the snack bar because there's a birthday party going on in there. They'd skate and have cake and what have you. Oh, so that's what the other thing I was mentioning. I was talking about our hours. So in the winter, then we're open Friday night, Saturday and Saturday and Sunday afternoons, 3 to 5. And we about once a month that Mom and Dad would run a promotion. October, there's always a Halloween. I have some pictures of Halloween was always a big one. We'd have costume contests and people. We get some really elaborate costumes. Some of the regulars. I remember that. Corn stalks seem to be a popular one. You guys would come as a corn stalk. They're going to be shedding stuff all over. Shedding leaves on the floor all night, cleaning up leaves. We always had a Thanksgiving skate. And so once a month we'd have a midnight skate in the winter. We'd stay open until 1 on a special day. Thanksgiving, let's say, for Thanksgiving, I guess the Indian thing, Mom would buy Indian headdresses and hand out to customers. We'd have these real feather Indian headdresses that we could buy. Like commercial outfitters. Christmas, obviously, we always had a Christmas skate. I have some photos. And New Year's Eve, always had a New Year's Eve skate. It always, of course, went till 1. Always hats and noisemakers. Got some photos of that, too, so I'll talk about that.
Mom loved the holidays.
Mom loved the holidays.
She
did
could do
it
love
up
the
there.
holidays.
Rick, that one time, I think, didn't Sally also put on shows? Because I remember being the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I got a picture of you. I didn't know who it was
Oh,
over
you're
there.
kidding.
Got a picture.
Oh, my
You were in
God.
costume. I know who your helpers were, but I didn't recognize you. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, and then February was kind of a dead month. We'd have a Valentine's skate, but we started having, I guess January, we'd have a winter carnival. Because what else you do in January? So they do a winter carnival. A lot of games, prizes, a fishing pond, a bunch of different games. We'd set up like a carnival. February, we always have St. Patrick's Day. In March, we'd have an Easter skate. And I guess that got us through the winter. And but one of the things Dad did when we started was that he went to all kinds of organizations, a lot of churches, schools, clubs. So we rent the rink in the summer, in the winter, and that was popular. We'd be rented. Sometimes we were open every night of the week. Sometimes we rent for a small group. They pay a flat fee. A lot of church groups came, and for a big, if it was a moneymaker, we'd split the gate with them basically. So like Village PTA for years. Anytime there's a day off school, they work the night before. And they bring in a couple hundred skaters, so we have a real nice big crowd. Yeah. And Saturday nights we'd have 150, 200 skaters back in the day.
And those things worked really well promotionally. Like Rick said, the family skate would bring you in, and then they'd say, oh, that was so much fun, we'll come back. Same with those groups. They would bring in people that weren't familiar with us. They say, boy, we really had a great time at the PTA skate. Maybe we let it come in on Saturday too. So it was self-sustaining through the winter then.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. September was always a really slow month for some reason. I think the summer crowd's gone, the winter crowd is still nice outside. Football games. Yeah, September was always September was always a slow month. And when the weather broke in the spring, we'd pack them in, especially Sunday afternoons. And it would always be muddy, and we'd be fighting the dust because there'd be so many people coming in. But just a funny pattern. In the spring when the weather broke, we'd get a lot of skaters. And we used to, I can't remember what year we finally bought the big commercial vacuum cleaner. We used to just use these dust mops about this wide. And one trip down the floor and it'd be dusty, you'd have to open the window and shake the dust out, make a trip up the floor and shake the dust out. The vacuum cleaner was a big improvement.
Huge improvement.
Rick, another thing your dad used to do was, if he'd see a group of guys coming in, like 3 or 4, the last guy who paid, give them a free admission. I said, why do you do that? I said, see those guys with that guy? We'll bring them back next time too.
Yeah.
He's got a free pass, he's gonna come back. He's gonna bring his buddies. I thought, wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah, Dad always had a pocket full of free passes. If we went out to dinner, besides the tip, he'd leave a free pass for the server with the idea that, maybe you'll get a new roller skater. Yeah.
How much? I can't remember for a summer pass for
I don't remember.
afternoon, but I would buy. My mom would buy it. And
Yeah.
Your mom said, "If I give you money, we keep her home."
Yeah.
We were just always in her face, and
Yeah, and we started selling summer passes to a lot of regulars. So I just buy patches and skate anytime you want it. There were a lot of hot summer afternoons when the only people showed up were the people that had passes. And we'd stay open for them, of course. Yeah. Another thing we do sometimes, especially if it's been a rainy week, and in the cottages, especially back in the day, you're kind of stuck in your cottage. Dad, we put the speakers on the car on a rainy morning, go around and say roller skating from 2:30 to 5. Hugely successful. We pack them in that day. Yeah. So just remind everybody. I don't know how that'd go every day. It was a lot of noise right around with it. Of course, remember back then the park had, you could hear the parks announcements all over the lake back then too. So just, I'd say Halloween was a big deal. We always had a photo contest. The one on the far left is 61, so that was about a month or two after we bought the roller rink. You can't really see that. They decorated the poles with corn stalks for So it went all out. Mom loved holidays.
Corn stalk on that pole and then streamers across it.
Later Wednesday, Mom and
That in the
Dad.
middle.
We'd have a contest in the 2:30 to 5 skate on the weekend of Halloween, and we'd have an adult contest too at night. Well, we're not necessarily adults, but we have one afternoon, one in the night.
Who's that in the middle?
Mom and Dad.
And my mom and dad are there.
Are you serious?
I'd imagine, actually, our for me to imagine dad with a green dress. Most his costumes are usually a little more macho. Yeah. I don't know, just remembers for me. So we on Halloween night, me and Matt Green, who lived in Minio's house, would trick or treat. We'd walk from one end of the lake to the other for maybe 10 residents, and there was just no year-round residents back in the day. We just go to see where there's a light on and go there, trick or treat. Sometimes we find like an older couple, had no idea it was even, they give us an apple or a quarter or something. Had no idea it was Halloween because there were no kids. By the time you guys came along, there were more and more kids all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like about 65, 70 on our street.
Wow.
I mean, which is good. I love the holidays too. It's just nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, back then we were it. The Lloyds, well, they were still here in October. The Lloyds used to go to Florida in the middle of the winter. Lloyds were here, my buddy Matt, the Hagmeyers. There's just, people here. Here's a family, Beebauer skated all the time in the 60s. Their Christmas cards, the roller rink. So there's 1961, there's me and Amy for the Merry Christmas. This is the door to the snack bar. It's just inside the house. So yeah, the houses were connected. That also reminds me because how today, just how everything's changed. So we had a pay phone, which was the roller rink business phone, right there on the wall, and there was no way to run extensions on the pay phone, but they did run a bell. So there was a bell right on the other side of that door, and if anybody called the roller rink, we'd hear it. And we'd run like crazy to answer the phone out here in the roller rink. And that's mostly how we booked business and everything. So a lot of people had the house number, but we didn't want to confuse the house number with the roller rink number in case people were calling in the evening and wanted to ring. So. And if someone was on the payphone, you called the rink, you got a business line. Actually, the house phone was a party line back in the day. Yeah. So there's mom and dad, like mid-60s. This is the Christmas time. And can't see, anyone remember Dale Gates? He had a skater from Florida. Dale Gates. And Dale is a huge man. He's a huge football star from Florida, went on and played college football. And he loved to play Santa, but Dale is just literally a really big guy. So you see the Santa suit, Santa suits are like usually one size fits all. He looks like he's wearing his cousin's hand. But we love to play Santa. Now we'd have a Santa every year, and we try to pick someone in it used to be Pat Middleton's, Pat's remarried name, the Middleton family skated all the time.
Yeah.
And one year we were stuck for Santa, and Pat said, well, I'll do it. And she was a great Santa. No one guessed, they all were trying to think it was one of the male skaters. No one ever guessed her, so she did. She was Santa for us for several years. Really nice Santa. She had nice twinkly blue eyes and apple cheeks. She had a great Santa. So there's, I mentioned New Year's Eve. There's just a couple of girls with noisemakers, and we get these usually crepe hats and noisemakers, and have a big group of everything. And as kids, we'd love to come out because people would discard their hats and their noisemakers, and we'd come in and cash in. We'd have hats and noisemakers to play with for a while there. Whoops, jumping. Just there's a picture. This must be the Winter Carnival, unless they went at the park. But it was Jim and Marcia Hewlin who met skating, married, worked in the snack bar. Marcia babysat us. Really involved in the rink back in the day. We used to have, that time we called it the bullpen. There was a railing there, right there, and there were lockers. And so you could rent lockers if you were a skater, and some of it valuables. So that time we had benches on both sides. We'd have 300 people sometimes. We used to keep benches on both sides, and some people put their skates on over here, and some people put their skates on over there. Just look for a space.
But they walked around the ends, baby.
But they walked around the black line. They had to stay inside the black line.
Or you got yelled at.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you got yelled out.
Anybody remember the Budget Wise magazine?
Yeah.
So
Oh my God.
Union City used to print a Budget-Wise magazine. We made the cover in '64. That's Dad, me, Amy, Mom, Andy, and Uncle Steve Robatzi. Actually, it's cousin's boat down in Springs. But I mention that because they would deliver in the summer. They deliver this to every cottage. It was free, and they deliver one to every cottage. So it's a great way to advertise. My mom would always make a little artwork. I'll show you a couple of those. We'd make a little artwork and put it in that every other week. I delivered it for a number of years, my early teens. I used to take two guys, and I'd do it in a day. I'd load it up, start on the far end of the lake, and I'd I can't even remember, like the Pierces, I think, and I'd have a pile there, replenish my pile. And then the next stop was lunch here, replenish my pile, and head to the north end of the lake. Yeah, every doorstep's got one of those every other week. So another promotion we ran, Mom and Dad thought it was a great idea. That's coming up. They thought, so this is one of the ads, example of an ad. Just think, again, with modern computer graphics and everything, because Mom was artistic conservative perfectionist, but this is kind of what we got. But this was an ad in the Budget-Wise, half-page ad, ran one every 2 weeks. But this was, Mom and Dad had this great idea in '65, they'd have a marathon, a skating marathon, a skate-a-thon. Okay, so, Ron Porter's here, who probably participated in every one of them, I think. So they thought this would be a great idea. We'd start at Friday night, Labor Day weekend. We'd start at Friday night, and people would skate till they couldn't skate anymore. They got a 5-hour break every hour, and they skate till they couldn't skate anymore. So the first year went and other skaters could come in and support their friends. We had regular hours, and first year went like 18, 20 hours, something like that, and it was fun. Everybody thought that was great. Next year, maybe 28 hours, I'm thinking. So yeah, that was fun. That's, Saturday night and the middle of the night, everybody gave up and went home. But it grew every year. I don't remember the exact hours. I've tried to find some resource, but I haven't found it. So here's the third one, and so there's the third one. And the third one we were at. Anybody read it?
36 hours and 30 minutes.
36 hours and 30 minutes, yeah. So now it's like Sunday morning before the skaters are done. And that's Rich one on the left, and then Linda Bauer. They had a cottage. Rich was from over towards Mill Village. The whole family skated. His parents, and there were 3 brothers. Linda Bauer, Rich's little brother Russ, Craig Bauer, Linda's brother. They had a place just down Bloomfield at the last crossroad there. They skated all the time. John Filliger from Union City, and Mom and Dad in that picture. So the fourth year went 50 some hours. I don't remember exactly. I just put a thing. So the fourth, usually the skaters, like I said, I just named all those guys. Usually these skaters, I jumped ahead too, but that's okay. Usually the skaters were all local, and I know them all. So the fourth year, there's a young guy there and skated down at Oil City Franklin. You'll think that right. But he skated 54 hours or something like that. So I got to know the guy, talked with him a lot. And I said, why'd you come? Why are you here? Why are you doing this? He said, well, I heard about it. I said, I just got drafted, and I just wanted to do something. I got this feeling I wanted to do something memorable before I go to Vietnam. And he was, about a year later, he was killed in action. Yeah. Really nice kid. So, and he won that year. A lot of times there'd be a tie. The last 2 guys would be like dead on their feet, and they'd say, I'll quit if you quit. Here's Ron. Here's the next year. Ron, what'd you guys go, 70? 72 hours?
73.
73 hours. So now it's closing time on Sunday night.
So you're like,
We're going to run the rink for 73 hours. And these guys are still skating. And I couldn't find a clipping for 1970. 1970, a couple guys went nearly 100 hours, 90 some hours. And so you can see, we started Labor Day weekend, and back then, everybody went back to school the Tuesday after Labor Day. The rain was crazy, but Lake was Labor Day weekend big, all busy all summer. Like about noon on Labor Day, it was just dead. Labor Day morning, everyone's packing up. Labor Day midday, the lake's dead. So here it is. Think of it. Started Friday night. Went all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and all day Monday. It's Tuesday morning, we're going to school for the first day. Dad had to go back to work. There was a couple guys out here. People. So, that was the end of the skate-a-thons. We didn't know what would happen the next year. But that involved us in all night skates. A lot of guys remember that.
Because I was in Canada.
Yeah, so then we started Memorial Day and Labor Day. I think we tried the 4th of July at first, but it didn't catch on. But every Memorial Day and Labor Day we'd be open all night. We did a lot of skaters. On Sunday night to Monday, we'd have a couple hundred kids in here. Had to keep the sign getting signed out. Couldn't come and go. And yeah, we had a big crowd. People were dying, a lot of people participated.
Yeah, I got something to say about that too. We would state people lined up outside the window. You had the windows open.
Yeah.
People came to watch that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a good point. I meant to mention that earlier, Ron. If you remember, these 4 windows in the front were always open. And also, we let people come into the railing. The 4 windows in the front were always open. And any summer evening, just a lot of the local older couples, they just come and watch the skaters. So there's always a big lineup of people just out front, just watching the roller skaters. A lot of my, thinking back, I know some of them, maybe the grandchild was roller skating, something like that. Always had a lot of.
My mom was out there a lot.
Your mom was out there a lot? Yep. Had a lot of non-skating spectators. Okay, another thing we did for promotion was the Canadettes. So the Canadettes marched on roller skates and did parade marching. Here, I mentioned Sally on the side of Sally was a big driver in this, helped with the routines and was a big driver in that. In fact, Sally, oh yeah, Sally's in there. So a bunch of local kids. Mary, I don't think you're in this one.
I had brown hair back then.
Christine Middleton, Annalie Campbell. But anyway, we did that for about 5 years, I think. I always say you can date them. The first banner was homemade. It was just felt on orange. And then later they actually bought a printed banner. I think that one got rained on once and the letters started peeling off the banner.
Halfway through the.
Brenda was, I mean, did you get involved with that at all? Brenda, yeah. No, Brenda was one of the Canadettes, you know?
We wore top hats too, I remember.
Yeah, top hats, orange canes. It was just, I mean, the marching was anything spectacular, but it was the novelty of the roller skates. The furthest I remember is Niagara Falls, but we go to Climber.
We did Climber.
Warren.
Yeah.
We get invitations all over for the.
Did you guys ever skate? I never saw you guys on skates.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we used to skate all the
I
time.
don't remember
Yeah.
you guys skating at
I
all.
was, in fact, one time, I was a Canadette one time. The Easter parade or the Halloween parade at Greenville, the night parade at Greenville. And I dressed up as a witch and just had a broom and just skated all around. Just skated around while they were marching. Yeah.
Becky, they used to tell me I could skate before I could walk.
Yeah, Amy and I, we saw that picture. I was 4 when we bought the rink, and Amy was 2, so we had to learn to skate. But yeah, especially Missy too. Missy probably maybe did skate before he walked. Shortly after.
Slow me down.
That was the idea. Yeah. And a little bit we'll talk about remodeling the rink. You see the facade starting to show a little wear and tear.
And this time it says Canadohta skating rink as opposed to the roller rink.
At that time, the ice rinks were springing up, and we wanted to make a distinction that we were an ice rink. That's actually the same picture. That was in the budget-wise, so that one has a date of 67. So this is the Canadettes in 67. Here's not a great photo. That's one I found. Oh, that's not that photo. That's the Canadettes actually. I remember that big parking sign on the right there. That's right in front of the park. So that was a parade that was arranged at Canadohta, and the Canadettes skated in that one. You see the orange costume, the orange skate covers. Just did that almost every Saturday summer Saturday for years. There's a picture of Sally Seidler and hers, and our sister. I think all inside there was a photographer, so I think a lot of these nicer photos showed up. There were things that came into the file because Olin took the pictures. Yeah, there was Sally and Amy. Well, maybe I'm going to back up just we'll talk about it because this little girl right here is Melissa. She's just Literally grew up, and Amy's right there. Amy's in the group too.
There's the hats that you were
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
there's that.
Your mom made all those uniforms.
I thought Mary Lapek did, Pat Middleton's mom.
Made a lot of them. Yeah, who said that?
Oh, I thought mom made a lot.
Oh no, Mom wasn't much of a seamstress. She loved it. Mom loved how we should make elaborate costumes for us, but no. So the idea was your mother could make them, or your grandmother. You know, you could make your own costume. We just had the fabric and the pattern. But yeah, there was a seamstress in Union City.
She made a lot
of them.
My mother made some.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we
saw-
found her out, not right at first, before we found her, and then Pat's mom. And, yeah, she made
Oh,
them.
Pat was like our driver for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you think of this, we didn't have a bus or anything, everybody just drove cars, yeah. I remember one time, and it was before seatbelts, really. I remember one time,
We're proud of him.
Mrs. Platt was driving. I
Oh,
was in the
no,
car.
that her too.
Yeah, the car's got like 10 girls probably. Yeah. 10 girls tried to do it, and we stopped to get gas or something. They made us stop, and Mrs. Platt pulls out, and Marta wasn't back in the car. She's holding on to the door with a skate. Okay. Oops. So, 1 year for promotion, Mary was mentioning this, 1 year for promotion in the winter, because this was a summer thing, keep the Canadohta going and all that sort of thing. They did a sort of a fairy tale, did a skate show, sort of a, you know, there's a Wizard of Oz, there's the three kittens without their mittens, and Sleeping Beauty, and the prince and a princess here, and it's just all the skaters doing something king. So, yeah, we had a big multi-number skate show that the Canadohta did. Hold on, 5 years, I'm going to say, yeah. Canadohta, yeah. Just a quick memory here. I mentioned that September was always really a dead month. The Methodist Church in Riceville approached Mom and Dad late 60s, early 70s, right around there, late 60s. Anyways, we shut down for a week in September for I think 3 years for the Dave Breeze Crusades. He was an evangelist that made the rounds. He used the Rink for a week every September, which always amazed me of what all you guys are saying, because we'd set up chairs. We'd pretty much set up the floor of the church. The stage was always on that end. And Mom and Dad would allow pedestrians and chairs on the floor for that event, which was always a surprise to us as kids, because as you've heard, walking on the floor was prohibited. Yeah, so that went on for a number of years. I think we did have a big bonfire Friday night. It went on for a week in September. There's that ad from around that period with the hours, 8 to 11, 2:30 to 5, party bookings. Sold a lot of roller skates too. We sell used skates and for people, and take skates in on trade. These kids grew. Sold a lot of roller skates.
I have mine, your dad, I got the new ones that came in, those red wheels with the jump bar.
Yeah.
And I'll always remember and treasure.
Oh yeah.
And I have the case, when the case came out, the fancy
Yep.
vinyl case.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's mine skates around. I don't have to run. One of them. Even we used to come on New Year's Day. The Basses would have us for New Year's dinner, and I'd usually skate. I usually just grab a pair of rentals. I didn't bother with my skates. So I don't know why I have my skates on. That's what happened. All right, we're going to skates service. That's what I wanted to say. I was just going to mention it because these Canadohtas, they're out skating on pavement, whatever. And back when we took over, most skate wheels were wooden skate wheels, or hard plastic skate wheels. The urethane hadn't come along yet. And about late 60s, Mary's talking about it. They came out, the first urethane wheels were the 8 rad wheels. You still see them. 8 rad wheels that came from Canada. They were the first urethane skating. And they were pretty expensive. I don't know what they were. $100.
$125.
For the skates and everything. And the wheels themselves.
Mine
were
was
priceless.
200, I can remember.
But you can imagine, we were constantly having a grinder, because you could grind those old wheels. And the Canadohta, pretty much every time they came back, we'd have to clean their wheels.
Yeah.
Wear and tear. Where the urethane, you just kind of sponge them off and they're good to go. So there's a big change. Now all the wheels are urethane. And actually, they're softer, they hold the floor well, you corner with them. So.
It was interesting,
The
the
evolution.
evolution of the wheel too. Because Amy's last pair of skates were actually, her wheels were balls.
Yeah, we're round,
They were not just a flat wheel.
Excuse me, back in the city, I bought a pair of roller skates for $50. And I donated them to Bear.
Nice.
I did.
Ron didn't miss many Saturday nights, Friday nights. You skated a lot, Ron. Didn't miss many nights. They just we don't have a lot of family photos. Just happen to find a photo of mom and dad from mid-70s.
That's how I remember.
Yep. Here's this is really the only one I found. But this is so we remodeled the front of the rink in
75?
no, really before 75, 70, 71, 72, early 70s.
Yeah, 72.
We put the whole new front on the rink. Couldn't find a lot of early photos. The window's still open and that sort of thing. It's on that. But that's our sister Amy. And a photo, some custom-made T-shirts. Actually, Celeste still wears. I think it must have been Mom's. It was blue. We still have one of those around. That was a Christmas one year. I made those T-shirts. I thought we were going to make them commercially, but we didn't. Found this one, so I slipped it in because kind of a big part of life. So that's Melissa skating with an exchange student, also Uber from Sweden. Mom and Dad ended up having, I think, 5 foreign exchange students with them over the next series of years. So, yeah. Looks like a guy. She was broad-shouldered. Girl from Sweden. And then Sharon, Sis and I have had a bunch of foreign exchange students. Students are caught on. We've had like 6 foreign exchange students with us over the years. So this was 1979. Canadohta Roller Rink has gone disco. So we put in the new sound system, the new speakers, new sound system, the lights, and it switched. Like I said, there's still a big controversy. We started playing rock and roll music for the push gate, the shoot to that. And I think we had a boys only and a girls only. And we do rock and roll. So we play a couple of rock and roll numbers. Of course, the kids are always asking for rock and roll. Old timers were like, I'm not coming back if we're playing that rock and roll.
Waltz music, yeah.
So what we started doing the disco, Sunday, Wednesday, and Fridays were rock and roll nights. So we're still, 79, it's still half organ music, some nights, rock and roll.
I remember Mark Dreyer and me always waltzing.
There's a fairly contemporary picture just to show the floor. I was going to talk about that spraying the floor here, but I got to it earlier. There's that. Early on, way in the back, I'm pretty sure it was Olin. Olin would plow the snow, because we get a lot of snow here in the winter. It's a big parking lot. Olin had an old Jeep that he'd plow for us for years, and then I don't know if the Jeep broke down. For some reason, Olin wasn't plowing anymore. Dad bought this old Ferguson tractor. There was a 49 in the bow. And so we had this Ferguson tractor, and he'd plow us out. For years, we plowed with that thing, and he'd plow out the neighborhood while he was doing it. And that's our son Chandler, 3 years old. Chandler's at a wedding this weekend. But yeah, so that would have been 85. So 1985, so 20 years old. For 20 plus years, we plowed with that.
Plowing was like therapy for Dad too. He just loved it. He got out there and he'd spend hours on. Like Rick said, he'd even open up other places in the neighborhood. But it's a fairly small tractor and not a lot of weight, and he would push it a lot of snow. And then he'd be out there and he'd get it stuck. He'd throw it in reverse and he'd come and find some of us to come help him either jump up and down and put some weight on it or get him out. But he'd go out and just churning away. He just left it in here, hoping that maybe it came out while he was tracking us down. A lot of fond memories of Dad plowing out there.
Yeah, that was he grew up on a dairy farm. I think he loved to plow. He loved to mow. You do most of the mowing, or they make us do it. I mowed a lot. Usually
Gave him downtime though, because Rick said during the day, you know, he had an 8 to 5 job, which was Dairy Lee, and then he spent all his other
Yeah,
hours in here.
Saturday
So,
mornings, he'd come out.
if he could get on those tractors, he could just kind of do his thing, zone out, I guess.
And so for the Millers, I threw in the new monitor. I think it looks great. It's nice.
New logo, very nice.
So, Lebowski's, you got anything? I'm kind of blank on the whole robots in there.
Yeah, so, Mom and Steven actually started managing the Rink in '83 when they got married, and we bought Rink in '87. And ran it until Mom sold it in December of 2018. So in those years, you know, Mom and Steve used to go to skate shows every year around the country and would come back with new lighting, new skates, try and keep up with all the, you know, newer stuff to try to keep things fresh. They added the team dances. We were talking about it. Can't remember if it was '86 or '87 that we started the team dances on Thursday nights. And at one point in time, we were getting 750 kids on a Thursday night. They would come from everywhere. So some great times with the dances. They added organ music. That was shortly after I think we started running the rink. We had organ music nights and brought in a live organ and a woman from Jamestown that came to play the organ for organ music nights. We did skating lessons for a long time. I know you guys had started skating lessons when you guys were here, but used to do lessons and then had a group of people that would come and
Remember that?
they would waltz and two-step and do some of the different dances and stuff.
Yeah, way back, so many people two-step, we often do that as one of the skate choices.
Yeah, we did. We continued that for a long time too.
So back in again, Olin and Sally Seidler. In the early days, Mom and the Seidlers gave lessons. You know, there are a lot of skate dances, there are skate competitions. There's the schottish and obviously the waltz, and the tango and the foxtrot, and you name it. We give lessons and teaching kids who want to learn how to skate, or adults that want to learn how to skate.
We had some shows here too, Bob. Put some shows on.
With Revive, right? So then that died out for a couple of years, I think, just for lack of interest for a while. There's a woman from here, Eat-Fi Merchant, who gave lessons at multiple rinks, and she came and asked about giving lessons here. We're glad to revive it. So then for a number of years, back in probably the early 70s, I can't remember what all years I was here. Yes,
Well, I was still giving skating lessons here when we started.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she and the kids, all skaters. So, yeah,
Do you
so-
remember when I would do the skating lessons and then go into your house with my skates on and watch Donnie and Marie on Friday nights and then come back skating? That was every Friday.
I don't remember, but it doesn't surprise me.
Your mom's like, just take her in there so she can watch. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I've been up and down the stairs in the house with skates on 1,000 times. I don't know how many times. So, yeah. Good. Trying to think of anything else. Anything else from you guys?
I have one question.
Sure. That's the next slide. Questions. Wait.
I was just thinking about some of the other things we did when we were here,
Go
like
ahead.
Mom and Steven hired somebody to redo the snack bar, you know, some
Yep.
of those old photos that had the
Yeah, the
counter
counter.
and-
So
Yeah.
the snack bar attendants, or I was going to say snack bar girls, would have to, candy was on this end, the sink was on that end, hamburgers were in the middle.
Yeah.
They'd have to
Go back and
run the
Yeah.
way to the snack bar.
And it was like that for quite a while after we owned it, because I remember working in the snack bar as a young teenager and doing that, but, so I don't remember what year for sure, were you around yet when we did the snack bar? So sometime after 1989, that we added on the snack bar and changed the layout.
It was mid-90s,
Mid-90s.
because that's when right after I started.
Aaron was here.
So
And the
Kurt-
ceiling, Larry was putting up the ceiling,
Yeah.
and this was that black.
Yeah, originally it was just sort of natural color, fiberglass mats for a lot of years. Steve and I painted it.
Yeah.
Actually, it worked great. It was sound deadened. In fact, with the Dave Brief crusade I mentioned, you could singing here just gets soaked up. So it was always like the crusade. People would be singing at the top of their lungs, and there's just you know, it's dead. Just dead. So it's great for roller skating. It's funny, when you're down in the basement here, when the rink's open, the noise from the wheels on the floor is pretty amazing. Yeah,
changed the
so then
bathrooms
at one point, we cleaned it up, it was gotten pretty shabby, so we spray painted it black for a while.
Yeah, I think we did this, it was, I think 88.
You put the aluminum
All
lines.
the, yeah, it's supposed to be insulating, was part of the reason we did it. Yeah,
Yeah.
big projects, that's for sure. And you talked about coating the floor, you know, every couple of years. The mops, coating the floor every year for a while.
Good. Anybody else, questions, comments?
Yeah, the ladies' room was really nice. I remember the old one.
Yeah, yeah.
You used to get in here, there was a little dip, and you
Yeah.
just slide right in the wall.
Yeah, I haven't been into the newest rendition, I'll have to check them out. Yeah, yeah, the restrooms, yeah, they took a lot of beating
They're
and
very
roller
nice,
skating.
yeah.
Also, obviously, we wouldn't heat the rink except when it was open. So we had a lot of problem with freezing and thawing, we had little heaters in there. And had a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
almost
freezing.
burned the place down one time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I remember heat coming out and one of the heat lamps that melted the pipes underneath.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It was on fire.
It was.
It was actually
Yeah.
I remember one time, obviously, pilot lights on these compressor heaters, and they would, occasionally pilot lights would go out and those would relight. You know, they always tell you, when you turn off the gas, wait 5 minutes till it clears, and I figured, well, I don't know how long it's been out, so I didn't bother to wait 5 minutes, and I lit that furnace, and that old fiberglass ceiling was very dusty, and kaboom, and I went back off the ladder, the dust on the ceiling caught on fire, was like a half hour before the rink opened, that's why the heat was on, and I used CO2 fire extinguishers, and cleaned up the mess by 8. It was a scary, it was scary, and one of the reasons we painted the ceiling black, because anybody else, memories, anything anybody wants to share?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry worked at the roller rink for us, with us for all figure teenage years.
Say people that don't know me, Rick, and Melissa are cousins, Uncle Dick, Aunt Diane. I'd come over because Stephen was my age.
Yeah.
And I'd come over in the summer and stay. And a lot of our jobs were all the benches that used to be down along the sides. We had to paint those. All the windows that opened, we used to have to paint those. That took pretty near all summer just to do that.
Especially when like little kids were harassing.
Yeah, we had a couple little kids that always liked to harass us. Not Andy.
One time Barry and Steve were painting. Barry's the kinder one. I don't know. A lot of tricks you pulled on me, I pulled on Andy.
Oh, did you?
One time, me and Matt Green next door were teasing. These guys were painting, they were harassing them. And I don't know, you heard us or something. So we got around to the front of the rink and we popped our heads up to harass them. And we both got a paintbrush in the face.
So that was those windows over there we got you on.
What was it?
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, me too. It didn't taste very good. Oil paint back in the day. Yeah. Anybody else?
I just had one question.
Okay.
Guy Lombardo, is he one of the ones who played?
Yeah, I heard that.
I did too, but wish we had some.
Joe, yeah, Joe Miller said that. Yeah, so that was 33 again. I don't know the years of the dance hall, but Joe Miller remembers that they babysat Ricky Nelson one time when Ozzie and Harriet were here.
Yeah,
So that had to be.
he was in the playpen in the front yard across the street.
Yeah.
I remember reading the story.
Yeah, so that had to be 3-4 years later when Ricky was a baby. So, yeah.
I'm not sure if it was Phyllis and Willis or early with your mom and dad, but they had a square dance club. A
Yeah.
bunch of friends, they met once a month and they'd have a touring dinner and.
Yeah, I forgot about
Square
that.
dance.
That was way back, yeah. Yeah, and that was square dance. So we loved them on the floor, and I forgot about that.
I mean, it was when you were still a skating rink, but
Yeah.
the one once a month.
Yeah, the big square dance club wanted to use the rink, Yeah, they right, they made tree dinner. So that went on, I think it may have been pre-existing in 61, and it went on, I remember when I was a kid. Yeah. Lots of uses over the years.
Did either one of you meet anybody here?
That's a good point. We skipped that. So mom and dad met here and married here. Tina and I met here and are married for, she says, way too long.
This one too.
30 plus years now. Cassie and Tony, my daughter and son-in-law, got married here 12 years ago, 15, how long ago? Yeah, they had their reception here, actually. Got married at the church, but had their reception here.
Yeah, I had a lot of receptions in my family receptions.
Mom and Stephen met here.
Yeah, Mom.
Larry and I reacquainted here. Autumn met both of her husbands.
No, we had a pretty good track record.
Hey, you remember your dog here named Cruz?
Oh, yeah.
He always greeted us when we come in. You remember Cruz?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Cruz. He greeted
How
everybody.
many of you remember Cruz? The Russian rock hound. So Cruz was a dog that we had that just showed
It was
up.
a stray, showed up
And he just was so happy to see
He
everybody.
lived out here, and he loved to follow you when you walked. And if you kicked a stone, he would grab the stone. And so we always would walk behind you everywhere you went. And if somebody new coming to the rink, it kind of surprised them because they walk along, there's this dog in front of them. He's just waiting for you to kick a stone. He'd grab a stone, and we'd have no idea where he came from or anything. And they'd come in, people would come into the rink, and they'd say, "What kind of dog is that?" And Dad says, "Oh, that's a Russian rock hound." And for years, I had people calling me up going, "Where did you guys find a Russian rock hound? I can't find."
I want to know what were you guys' names. Do you remember? Where did he get his name from?
Because he was a scuzzy old dog.
He was, I can remember it was
named him Cruz.
Yeah, Cruddy and Scuzzy, and it became Cruz. Yeah.
He greeted us every time we came skating.
Yeah, he lived
He was
for
here for
years.
years. Yeah.
For years. It ended up all his teeth were worn off from all the rocks. I could throw a rock.
I can still see him in my
I could throw a rock into the lake down in Elmwood, and he'd go and come back with that very same rock.
Yeah, you could put an X on it, throw it in the water. He would find that rock. He was amazing, yeah.
Anybody else? Hopefully entertained you. Go ahead, Rick.
Connie and I met here.
Oh, you guys met here?
65. Got married in
1965.
69.
I don't know if Carrie and Jim met here or not. Where's she at?
They're still over there.
Care. Did you meet Jim at the skating rink or no? Probably around the parking lot or something.
Yeah. Probably a beer party.
A beer party in the woods, yeah.
That was my dog twice a night to come check on your sister. I had out there a lot.
Where am I gonna go? Your mother was watching.
I saw Janie like 5-10 years ago sometime, and she was talking about the time she was supposed to be roller skating, but she went to the Flying D, and your mom came to check on her.
Yeah, my mom was
My mom always checked
Yeah, so your mom marched into the Flying D, grabbed Janie and marched her out. And Janie thinks she thinks everybody in the world remembers that because it was so dramatic to her.
I got something that, I won the 3 trophies out of here. Your dad asked me not to sign my name to the last minute of the Tater song.
Yeah. Then one day happened to there competing with you again. Yeah, you were in the finalists.
I was the oldest one too. And in 72, I joined the Army, BB, none and got hurt.
Do you remember Bruce? He used to blow the whistle.
Bruce blew the whistle. Yeah. I'll blew the whistle for a lot of years. Old and old days.
Bruce. I used to do I was like 4 years old. I would walk with
whistle
him.
for a lot of years.
He's still
About 20, yeah. That's when he's been gone.
Art, remember an Art?
Art Peterson.
Art, yeah, Art and
Art,
Diane.
yeah, Diane, she
I
died.
have to dig them pictures out of that. I mean,
I have pictures too. I gotta dig
I
them
hope the
out.
rats didn't eat them up in the attic. I didn't get out there.
Oh,
Man,
that sounds so great.
Get ready for this. We've lost so many photos.
Yeah, we lost a lot of photos.
I know.
Somewhere there was one of the picture with the speakers on the car, and I couldn't find it.
Was it a station wagon?
Yeah.
It started.
It started with a sedan, but we did it with
You
the
remember driving that?
Yeah, it was a 64 Plymouth that he started in.
Oh, no, remember Mom had that, it was a 59 Chrysler.
Oh, yeah.
The fins.
Yeah.
I remember one time you and Steve were doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think you were happy about it either.
No.
I was riding with it and it overheated right over here.
Yeah.
And I think that was it. I think we parked it and that was the end of that car, if I remember right. Yeah. Yeah, so we started out, yeah, did that.
Diane, and that
Would have been
car, remember,
station wagons in
her
here.
was gone.
Yeah, I remember the one station wagon you guys went on vacation at. Yeah, roll up this
Melody, yeah, it was her daughter. Yeah.
Yes, I'm friends with. If there's any more questions, you can also ask them on our Facebook page. And look, yes. I think it's Melody. But thank you for coming today. We really appreciate that you've all been out here for this. And we will have one more session I think it's going to be Labor Day weekend, and it's going to be called Show Us Your Treasures. It'll be at the activity building, and we want you to bring old pictures, souvenirs, interesting artifacts that you may have. And we're going to have them set. You will be with your items though, and then you're going to talk about your items, very informal. Everybody's going to walk around and see those. So we'll let you know more information about that. But really, I want to give the answer to that.
I don't get to work much anymore. First time I've been Rink in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you noticed Rick's shirt too.
Yeah, I did.
Tom and Laura.